As you're aware, Kotak and FT entered into a share purchase agreement yesterday, through which Kotak has the opportunity to acquire a 15% stake in MCX for a total consideration of 459 crores. This transaction, of course, is subject to regulatory approvals and other conditions being fulfilled. What must be kept in mind is that Kotak is a pure financial investor in this transaction, and we have no special rights as vis-a-vis management, board seats, or in any other manner. We believe this transaction creates significant long-term value for our shareholders. We've said on many occasions that the financial infrastructure space is something that we like, and there is no better way to actually get an exposure to the financial infrastructure space than through a stake such as this in a player like MCX, which has such a fabulous franchise in the commodity space. And we believe that over a period of time, as regulatory conditions evolve, as options trading is permitted, as newer classes of investors are permitted into the country and into the commodities markets, as restrictions on certain commodities are removed, there can be significant upside for MCX in terms of its business from these levels. So given all of this, we believe it's a value creating transaction for our shareholders over a longer period of time. And we are therefore very excited about this transaction. I'd be happy to answer any questions which any of you may have.
Mr. Parambi, this is Shri Chaudhary from CNBC आवाज. मेरा पहला सवाल ये है कि इतनी अनसर्टेनिटी है अभी फिलहाल, तो आपका क्या एक्शन प्लान है टू डील विद, किस तरह से आप आगे बढ़ाएंगे, क्योंकि MCX बहुत ही बुरे हालातों से गुजरा है और अब आप एंटर कर रहे हैं इस बिजनेस. Any action plan?
Yeah. See, I must.
Look the camera.
Yeah, I'd like to give you 2 pointers on this in answer to your question. The first is that MCX is not going through a difficult time. Over the last 1 year, MCX's market share, despite everything, has remained exactly the same. So its franchise is great. We are pure financial investors in this transaction. We've had this great opportunity to really invest in MCX. So as of now, we are therefore coming in as investors. We believe in the long-term franchise of MCX, and we'll take it along as it goes.
You mentioned about the fact that this is subject to regulatory approval and certain conditions. Can you elaborate on those certain conditions?
See, unfortunately, all the conditions of our share purchase agreement are confidential, so I can't comment on any of those conditions.
Let me ask you the other way. What is the conditions which will lead to you not going forward with the deal?
Again, I can't answer it the other way as well.
But isn't this a listed company?
It's a listed company.
Both of you are listed, so how can you say that it is confidential? So you are supposed to say that.
No, so the agreement between the two is confidential. Both the entities are listed, and therefore the confidentiality becomes more critical. But let me put it this way: it's therefore a agreement which the two of us have entered, and the effort is to therefore try and complete all the conditions which are required to fulfill it.
So just need some clarity on the ICDR regulations. Now there was a lot of talk about the regulation 36, because there is a 3-year lock-in period on the promoter 20% stake. Now what we've learned is that Financial Technologies has written to SEBI to seek clarity on this. In fact, even the commodities regulator had written to SEBI to relax the ICDR norms. Have you also sought some clarity from SEBI? Because without SEBI's approval, this stake sale of 15% can't go through, because there is a 3-year lock-in period till 2015.
Yeah, so there's a lock-in on the shares till 2015. I can't comment on what FT may have, Financial Technologies may have done vis-a-vis this. As of now, therefore, from our perspective, we are long-term investors, so we are, whether there's lock-in or otherwise, it's not something which we are really fussed on.
So but the stake sale can't go through if SEBI does not allow relaxation on ICDR norms?
See, I think some of those we'll have to sort of take as it comes. So there are various things which we will need to sort of address as time evolves, and we will try and do that.
Or is it the duty of FT and MCX to do that?
Again, I don't want to comment on all the regulatory discussions which may be happening between us and all the regulators. Just what I want to assure you is that we will try and do our very best to do whatever is required for this
What is the
transaction.
price per share which you have purchased?
The price per share is 600 rupees.
But the shares has seen a huge run up from where it was in say February to now. So is that a bit on top of the line?
Top of the line in what sense?
On the pricing front.
See, from the perspective of price, what I'd like to say is that we believe this is a fair price for investors. And let me explain why. There are a few factors we must keep in mind as we look at price. The first factor is that we must remember that just a month ago, the shares weren't ruling at very different prices from where they are today. And from our perspective, therefore, the first thing is we are buying into a business. So let's assume the prices instead of going up had gone down. Would Kotak investors have got a bad deal? No, they would have got exactly the same deal because we are buying the same business. So when we buy businesses as a group, the value of that business does not change based on short-term price movements if you're buying it from the longer term. Now it so happens that the price has gone up. So we believe the fair price is exactly where it was. Okay, and therefore I don't think this is an unfair price for investors. As we look at the price, we have to look at the cash flows of the entity, the future prospects of that entity, and short-term price movements based on speculation and other reasons would not justify what price we would be willing to pay. I think it's a fair price.
What is the point of reference for coming at a valuation for that price of 600?
See, from our perspective, therefore, what we would look at is the intrinsic value of MCX, the kind of cash flows it has, its profitability, its current market position and future opportunities. So we are looking at it from a long term, and therefore given different considerations, we've therefore arrived at 600.
Would you be looking to merge your existing commodity business with this or MCX?
Synergies will they have?
Yeah. See, I think that's a good question. What I'd like to make clear is that this transaction has absolutely nothing to do with ACE. Okay, we had this opportunity. We like the financial infrastructure space, and we had this unique, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to acquire a 15% stake in such a strong franchise, which is MCX. So at that point of time, this transaction, the consideration for this transaction was not what can happen for ACE. The two are totally independent. ACE is a player in the agri-commodity space. MCX is a player in the significantly in the metal space, the crude space. And in MCX, we are pure financial investors. So for ACE, it's business as usual, and MCX for us is a pure financial investment.
Is there are there regulations that prevent you from having holdings in two commodity?
No, regulations currently permit us to hold yeah.
But in any number of commodities?
Yes. So therefore, as a bank, we can hold for up to 15% in any commodity exchange.
What will this 15% give you in terms of rights for the? Will you get a board seat because you're saying that you're a financial investor and you're here for long term? Will you be looking at a board seat in on the board of MCX?
The size of our stake and our intentions will not give us any special rights. So therefore, we'll have the same.
That is separate.
Yeah. So therefore,
in the commodity exchange, 15% can give you control as well. It doesn't require
no. Okay.
you
So
to have 51%.
No, we'd love to have 51, but no, we have 15%, and at 15%, therefore, our transaction is one where we are a financial investor. We have no special rights vis-a-vis management, vis-a-vis board seats, or any other kind of rights. So we come in like any other investor. It's just that we've had an opportunity to buy 15%, which is not an opportunity we would have normally had in an MCX.
So will you go in for a board seat?
See,
That you
okay, let me put it this way.
shareholders there.
Let me put it this way. We have come in because we've got the opportunity to invest. And it has therefore got no precondition on whether we have a board seat, whether we have management control or anything else. Right now we've come in as an investor. Okay. And we had this opportunity. So right now we've said, right now let us grab this opportunity, complete this share purchase agreement, and we'll take it as it comes.
So pardon me if this question has been asked again, but just seeking clarity. Now, the biggest bone of contention on this deal with other, potential investors was the technology contract. Will you go ahead and tweak or, move away from technology with financial technology, the technology contract?
See, I'm not aware of what the bone of contention for others was, but from our perspective, therefore, we've entered into this. the technology contracts with between FT and MCX are between the two of them, and I think they need to sort of work out what is appropriate.
There's also to move to appoint a new CEO. There's already an advertisement which is out looking after a new CEO for MCX. Will we play a role in appointment of a new CEO for MCX?
Again, as mentioned, we are financial investors. We'd hope that a good CEO gets appointed. Now we have, particularly if we manage to close this, which we hope we will, we'd have a significant interest in this